Right, so let's get into the second game for today. Here we are on Tomb of the Spider Queen. We have this replay submitted by Lovely, who's going to be on Stukov. They asked, they're trying to get better at Stukov and would appreciate tips on how to improve. So I do recognize a lot of people from this. They said this was Hero League as well. So this is Tempo Storm Psalm, I believe. I think this is one of his Smurfs. I am 99% sure, but now I'm doubting myself. But I do recognize a lot of names from here. So this is High Masters to Grandmasters Hero League, definitely. So with that being said, based on the teams, I like both of their teams a lot, honestly. So this team on the blue side, Kel'Thuzad, Stukov, Greymane, Diablo, Kerrigan, has extremely good pickoff potential between either a Kerrigan or a Diablo combo into the other one. Into all of the huge burst damage off of Kel'Thuzad and Greymane with Stukov silence to back things up, so they can't really do a whole lot about it. Sorry if you can hear my dogs barking in the background. They do that. On the red side, we have Anubarak, Chromie, Sonya, Tehran, Medivh. The biggest problem with this team is they don't have a hard healer, right? They have a Tehran and a Medivh who are both kind of half-ass healers. Feral is Psalm, you Q-sniped? Okay, cool. Yeah. Feral is definitely Psalm then. It's kind of annoying. That's unfortunate. I'm sorry to hear that. That happens sometimes with pros. We gave you all a list of heroes you were allowed to play. Wow, that is kind of annoying. Wow, that is kind of fucked up. That's pretty pretentious, actually. Good lord. Okay. Yeah, before any hope got banned. Okay, interesting. That is very interesting. Okay, well, on the red team, we don't have a hard healer, so this is going to end up being a problem in long engagements. Sonya can self-sustain a little bit, especially with Tehran healing her, as can Anubarak. And Chromie shouldn't be in too much danger, but this is still not a great idea to have no hard healer on your team. Yeah, Lovely points that out. No support on their side. There we go.
Battle begins in 10
so yeah, Feral is gonna, Psalm is gonna try and tell people what to do, apparently. I'll go over talents in just a second, as soon as everybody picks them. But I think I like blue team's team better now. Tehran and Medivh are support, kind of. Tehran's more of a damage at this point, and Medivh can stop damage but can't actually heal. So as soon as Sonya stops being AFK, we'll get into this. Everybody just kind of poking, doing the traditional esportsing mid, showing off. Diablo eats a lot of damage here. Diablo's still eating damage left and right. There's a very good portal by Edward Torres, but not taken advantage of by Sonya. Pretty good combo by Kerrigan to catch those two out as well. A lot of close engagements here. He does get that kill, ends up going down for it, but is going to trade. There's a whole lot of damage going out on both sides. So for level 1 talents, we are going to hit Chains on Kel'Thuzad. So, you know, it is Psalm. He does know, he's more confident in his ability to play Kel'Thuzad, I'm sure. This is definitely the best talent at 1, if you know how to land combos. Growing Infestation as Stukov on 1 is pretty good. I don't know if I would say it's amazing on this map, necessarily. It's, in my opinion, much better on maps that you have to contest like a small area, like a Braxis or like a Cursed Hollow or something like that. Or even at this point, I wonder how, speaking of which, I wonder how Lurking Arm interacts with the conveyors on Volskaya. If you can, like, especially on the top point, if you can Lurking Arm on a conveyor and then just get transported out. That could be interesting. That could be really neat. I'll have to test that later. But Growing Infestation is pretty good. The cooldown increase on it is really rough to deal with now, though. But it is a very good counter to Sonya and to Anubarak, because once they dive in, they aren't going to be able to do anything. So I don't mind this. The other options at 1 are good as well. Specifically, the Spine Launcher or Fetid Touch. Spine Launcher gives you a much easier way to land W's if you have problems with that. It'll let you slow them before you apply your W, so it's a bit easier to hit. And then the Fetid Touch decreases the cooldown of your W if you're very consistent at landing them. So that will give you better uptime on targeted excision at 7 if you choose to go that. That being said, you're probably not going to go Target Excision because you went for the talent, the Lurking Arm talent, but that's okay. This is still a good combo with the level 7 talent as well, so no complaints here. Cocktail build on Greymane, which is fine, completely fine here. You get to clear lanes pretty quick on this map, so it's a very good choice. Devil's Due is extraordinarily good on Diablo. I have a really hard time ever giving that up. It's just so good. It's basically an ancestral every time you get a globe. It's so good. Sharpened Blades on Kerrigan for the Kerrigan that is very confident in landing their combos. Also, block wouldn't do a whole lot against this enemy team, so I like Sharpened Blades here. Regen Master on a Nubrak is boring but very effective. Also, at level 1, they don't have a ton of spell damage on this team. I mean, they do have Kel'Thuzad, right? So Neurogant Armor could have been pretty good. Or the Spell Armor on Beetles would also be acceptable for stopping Kel'Thuzad Qs. But Regen Master is consistent. HP is never bad. He already has baseline Spell Armor, so it's not super necessary that he gets more. Time Walker's Pursuit is fairly standard on Chromie. Gives you a way to scout out, especially on a map like this where you can scout out objectives so hard, where they are or what they're doing with the Time Walker's Pursuit vision. That this is a very good talent. It also gives you makes sure you have very little mana problems late game. You can just spam your Q to your heart's content. Sonya, I'm gonna go for Shot of Fury. I don't know Sonya talents very well, so I'm very sorry about that. I will not be able to give very good advice for her. But as far as I know, Shot of Fury is just fine. The other option is at 1 would be the Warpaint, the auto attack healing. But I'm very okay with Shot of Fury personally. Ranger on Tyrande is fairly standard, going for the Owl build. Just gotta spam those owls, get those stacks quickly. She already has 3 at 51 seconds, so she's doing pretty good. And then Medivh Portal Duration by 50% is also fairly standard. Coupled with a cooldown later on, you can have almost 100% uptime on portals. Psalm is going to eat that. That was a very good job by you to tank that shot for him. He would have died to that. You are a god. That was a very good idea to body block it. No shit. I like the banter. I like it, especially if he's being shitty and telling you who you can and can't play. But that was a very good choice on your part to tank that for him and not give Chromie the kill. Diablo is going to be in a little bit of trouble here, but not too much. You guys are up half a bar of XP already, so as long as you are remaining consistent in your combos or your rotates, you should be fine. That was a good combo by Kerrigan to pull him out of the portal, but unfortunately he got back in there before it mattered too much. You guys are stacking pretty well. He's stacking okay. He's 8 stacks already. It's not bad for him. Bottom lane, you guys are going to jump onto this Sonya. It was a very good choice to not let her roam freely. And getting that kill means that they're going to have to rotate somebody else down. And their already kind of mediocre wave clear is going to get even worse because they have to rotate somebody else out. So that's a really good pick. That's a very good choice. But specifically, let's try and follow you a little bit more. If you wanted some advice on your Stukov play, let's follow you around. Everything's pretty normal so far. I'm just kind of clearing and rotating, doing what you guys should be doing. He wants to go for that kill, which is a very aggressive kill. Not likely to get that kill as is. You are recognizing already one of the best parts about Stukov is that his AoE or his auto attack fucking hurts, and you can slap people and do a lot of damage. So getting auto attacks off here and there when you can is very important, as long as you are staying safe while doing so. But you are all healing up pretty well. So let's go ahead and go over 4 talents. I know that they're not all done, or Diablo hasn't picked his, or Nubrak rather, their tank, but that's okay. Armor of the Archlich is very bad against this team. So I said Psalm was like doing all right, he knows his Kel'Thuzad. Apparently not. The 50 physical armor isn't going to do much for him in this game. I guess a Nubrak can auto attack him technically, but if a Nubrak's on Kel'Thuzad, you're pretty much dead anyway. The CC is going to matter a lot more than his dinky auto attacks. And Sonya does a lot of magical damage as well. You'll let Psalm know he's bad? Okay, cool. Armor of the Archlich is not great. It's okay. But again, I wouldn't say it's great in this situation because you can, I guess, slow Sonya down, I guess. But having Phylactery on a map that you're constantly rotating on, like you're going to get double globes pretty much every time as long as you're with your team. You can get that stacked real quick, and Phylactery is huge in this game. So I don't know. Vigorous Reuptake is pretty good at 4. I personally prefer One Good Spread. It removes the mana cost if you hit 3 people and also decreases the cooldown of your Q. But Vigorous Reuptake is pretty good. They do have a lot of burst damage, so it's pretty good to stop or to counter that burst with a huge burst heal. So I don't mind that. It just takes a lot of time to get this one online is the biggest problem with Vigorous Reuptake. But that being said, it is a pretty decent talent. I don't have a problem with this talent. I prefer One Good Spread personally because it is much more consistent healing. But Vigorous Reuptake is nothing to scoff at. Greymane, gonna go Cocktail at 4. Good. Shadow Range Charge on Diablo. Good. These are pretty standard talents for these two. All good. Again, pretty standard for Kerrigan as well. Going to Cleave is fairly standard nowadays. It's also a very good assimilation shield generator. That's what it's called? Something like that. It powers your shields up a lot because you can hit a creep wave and generate shields off of the entire wave, not just one target. Karma goes Bronze Talons, which is, I don't know, I feel like it's kind of a trap talent. Maybe not. It's decent. It gives you decent poke damage, but I personally do not like Bronze Talons. I go for the trap resets cooldowns, which can give you really good potential if somebody's trying to dive you. But Bronze Talons is not bad. I just feel like nowadays, because you need to land Qs to get your Sandblast stacks, that spamming them willy-nilly to get Bronze Talon stacks is not very good. Shattered Ground, so Sonya's going more for an ability damage build rather than the vigorous, or like the War Paint focus attack kind of build. So she's going to go Shattered Ground to splash the Seismic Slam damage, to increase the splash in the Seismic Slam. So again, I don't really know Sonya, so this might be fine. I don't know. I got really nothing here. I'm sorry. Caldori Resistance on Tyrande is good here. You guys don't have many stuns. You have the Kerrigan stun and the Diablo stun, but those are both pretty short duration. So she's not going to really cleanse either of those. Am I going to play HGC Open someday? I hope so. I would need to find a team that's going to do HGC Open. I would really love to, honestly. But currently I am not. But thank you. I appreciate that you think I am good enough to. That's huge. So the spell armor is going to do really well against the Kel'Thuzad though. What role do I play? I mostly play assassins. Bird's Eye View on Medivh is fairly standard. It gives you an activatable to increase the AoE of your vision and bird form. Fairly standard. We're gonna go here. But yeah, I play assassin, so a lot of teams already have assassin players because a lot of high ranked people pretty much like to spam assassins, but that's okay for now. If one day I can get into an HGC Open team, that would be amazing. I would be very happy, but for now, no. Getting some good poke off. Unfortunately, the combo didn't land. Putting those down on top of portals is actually pretty good, especially if they're trying to portal into your team. If you see like a random portal come out, that one wasn't random, obviously. You could see that he was trying to help them out. But if you see like a random portal come out when you're like poking around and you think they might be trying to engage off of it, you can slam your lurking arm down on top of the portal and they can't engage out of it, right? They have to leave the portal if they want to fight you, which is very disruptive to their team fight. It's similar to like a Malfurion dropping his roots on the portal or something like that. Decent combos from Kerrigan, but a lot of pressure being put one way and the other. That's also a good thing is pinging your trait timing. So I would highly recommend continuing to do that. You seem to be on it, but that's also the problem with Vigorous Reuptake is that you have to back for mana. With one good spread, you're pretty much set on mana for the entire game. But it is good calls from you. You do recognize that you need to get that bottom XP, get those coins, or spider butts. Sorry, get those spider butts. Do what you can. So that's a good call. You used to take one good spread, okay. I believe they're both good, so I don't have a problem with Vigorous Reuptake. But you feel like you only need to back 3 to 4 times a game? Okay, that's fair. You prefer the late game power spike? That is okay. Yeah, I agree that it has a much better late game power spike. I generally go with the earlier. But hey, different playstyles are different good. It's always good. It means the character has diversity, right? That is never a bad thing. Diablo is really aggressive here. I'm not quite sure what he's doing over there, but yeah, that's a change. That's a choice. I mean, you do unfortunately get caught up with a time trap. Yeah, you should go down here. That's a lot of damage onto you. Your team probably shouldn't have rotated so hard to bottom. Like, they can stop her from pushing, I suppose, but rotating a lot of people meant you were vulnerable on the rotate top and mid, which is where you guys generally were keeping it. So that was unfortunate. But yeah, that is a good point. The Diablo was way too far out for no reason. As far as level 7 talents go, Glacial Spike is probably the best for Kel'Thuzad. You should have just let Diablo die, it's true. You probably... Fuck, you don't know what to do. Yeah, you should have let him die. Yeah, you probably should have just let him go down. So you do go Targeted Excision at 7, which is interesting. If you were going to go for this, I would probably suggest going Fetid Touch at 1. Personally. His name is Rage, to be fair. That's true. I mean, you're not wrong. I guess he's living up to his name. But yeah, so if you're not going to go for the range on ARM, I would probably recommend going for Fetid Touch at 1 then. Because if you can get your W cooldown to 5 seconds as well, that's huge. Because the biggest problem with Targeted Excision when you don't go for Fetid Touch is the cooldown on your W, right? So, cooldown on your W... Oh, wait, there you were. Is 10 seconds normally. So if your trait cooldown is 5 seconds, and you have a 10-second on your W, then it's not amazing. You still get 6 seconds off of your total burst combo, so it's not bad. But I would probably prefer to see Fetid Touch at 1 if you're going to go for Targeted Excision. Greymane continue with the Cocktail build. Soul Shield on Diablo. These are all standard. Standard. Nothing crazy. Greymane is going to get caught out down here, though. Does spend a little bit too much time too close to lane and gets caught out by Medivh. Subterranean Shield is pretty standard on Nubarak. Dragon's Eye is decent on Chromie. You feel like you're normally waiting for the Q cooldown? Okay, that makes sense. That's fair at that point, because the Q cooldown is also 10 seconds. So they're both similarly timed. I get that. That is no problem. So for Chromie, her 7 or her 5 rather, I prefer Chrono Sickness because I also go for the Time Trap at 4. Chrono Sickness reduces the mana cost and cooldown of Time Trap by 50%, and then also gives us slow on the end of Time Trap. So that really helps when you get Dove, in my opinion, which is why I prefer that build. On Sonya, we have First Healing, which is, I think, standard if you're going to go for more of an ability damage and not the auto attack. True Shot Aura on Tehran I don't really like here because they don't have auto attackers. I've gone over this a couple of times with my Tehran build. I would go True Shot Aura if you have another heavy auto attacker like a Greymane or a Vala or a Butcher or somebody that's going to benefit a lot from the increased auto attack damage. But because Sonya went for a more ability based, I would much prefer to see Darnathian Archery and have her just try to plink down your tanks rather than True Shot Aura. Medivh goes Master's Touch because he doesn't have any other level 7 talents, and if you say otherwise, you're wrong. His other level 7 talents are just not great. So, Kerrigan is going to be able to get the dive onto that in the back line. So it's pretty good on her part. You almost got that heal. Unfortunately, you didn't have the burst available. So Kerrigan did go down. But overall, that was a 1-for-1 trade. Not bad, but you are still losing the XP mid and bottom, which is unfortunate. Just because of the situation of Greymane dying immediately as well. Or Greymane dying right before that, rather. But let's follow you around. Yeah, man, Stukov's auto attacks slap real hard. This is the biggest problem with Growing Infestation, is like you can use it for wave clear, but the cooldown increase is gonna get you every time, unfortunately. It's a good call for 10 because you're slightly behind on XP, not by much, but very slightly. So reminding everybody that you're not going to hit 10 first is always good. But everybody just poking in. You guys at 29 points, they have 41, so anyone can turn it on their team pretty much. So he does get caught out here, surprisingly. But you guys do take that. It's a very good kill to get before 10 as well, like right as they hit 10, because then they're not gonna, they can't capitalize on their 10 as well, because they're down a person. That's a pretty good choice. Unfortunately, the APOC didn't land. But everybody's getting decent stacks. Let's go over 10s right now. On Kel'Thuzad, we have Shadow Fissure, which is good. Flailing Swipe on Stukov, which I think is the better ult now. Massive Shove is funny still, don't get me wrong, but Flailing Swipes, go to. You go for the boat on Greymane, which is pretty good against Chromie and Tyrande, right? You can get those picks pretty quick, but Medivh can potentially cockblock you with the Force of Will. APOC on Diablo is good. You only use Slightly Massive Shove on Hanamura. That's fair. That is a very open map, so that makes sense. Maelstrom, I like the Ultralisk a lot on her now. Every other map, the value is too difficult to get. That's fair. I agree. Braxis has some potential, but I would agree with Massive Shove having issues. And they buff Flailing Swipe. And the 20 upgrade for Flailing Swipe is excellent now. So I have a hard time giving up Swipe now as well. Maelstrom on Kerrigan. I like Ultralisk a lot, honestly, on Kerrigan nowadays. It gives you some consistent lane clear. Like, you can use it during a fight and then send it off to go clear a lane while you do something else. It doesn't show up on the minimap as anything other than a creep. So it will take people by surprise if they're not actively paying attention to lanes. But Maelstrom's okay if you're going for heavy team fights. So it's not terrible. They only have 2 melees though, which is why I would caution against Maelstrom, because Ultralisk you can set it on Chromie and force her to kind of back away or take a decent amount of damage from the Ultra. Maelstrom's only going to hit a Sonya and a Nubarak, both of who can deal with you pretty well. Shadow Stalk on so angry. Shadow Stalk on Tyrande is good. Locust Swarm on Nubarak is pretty good as well. You guys have 3 melees-ish, 3.5, right? You have Diablo, you have Kerrigan, and then either you or Greymane is probably going to be in a similar range as well. So Locust Swarm's not a bad choice. I might have preferred to see Cocoon though, so he can Cocoon a high priority target and then get the burst kill on him. But they did get Temp Loop for that, so maybe that's what they were going for. Leap on Sonya is not bad. It lets her get to the backline, and again, Kel'Thuzad has a lot of problems with being dove, so Leap's a pretty good choice here. And then Leyline on Medivh is pretty much go-to as well. They're going to combo down your Kerrigan pretty well. That was a good try on your part with these swipes at the end, but unfortunately they had all of their spells down before your silence popped. But it was a good attempt. Like that was the right thought process, but it was just like half a second late, unfortunately. And they do get web weavers, so they're going to be pushing you down. Greymane's clearing his bottom very quickly, which is nice. They're not going to get any value out of this bottom weaver. And they're going to kind of be forced to back off the top. It was a pretty good combo on Psalm's part. The Diablo almost saved him, but it ended up working out for you guys. Your positioning here is really good though. Like you zoned the Chromie pretty hard. She had to walk all the way around to do anything. So I'm liking your lurking arms. They're landing in good spots. Sonya heads bottom, which I don't think is the right choice because unless this Greymane tries to fight her like he should not, and she walks straight into the mouth or into the Kel'Thuzad ult, which should not have happened. Greymane should have lost that fight, so I don't really like the Sonya going down there. Because the web weaver was already gone. I would have preferred to see her get some value out of mid, but instead she just walks up and dies. That was quite the combination. Yeah, that was something else. Alright, you guys have enough to turn in by far, so you're gonna be looking for that right now, ideally. Everybody's kind of poking around though. Just doing what they can. You do get the turn in. Chromie should have been spamming a lot harder because you had the vision. Or they had the vision. Well played by Psalm. Yeah, that was a good ult by Psalm. The Sonya should just not have taken that fight though. Like I don't there's nothing to gain out of that fight, right? Your web weaver was already down, so I don't really agree with that on her part. But that was a good ultimate on his part. He either had to walk back into the gray main or walk into the ult. He chose the ult. Those are pretty good flailing swipes to separate everybody. And then a good heal to save your Kerrigan for a little bit longer. But he does end up going down, and Diablo saves Sonya once again. You get spam pinged for no reason because you did everything you could. That's a hell of a thing. But yeah, no, you did everything you could there, honestly. Like, your E was on cooldown because you would try to use it early to zone the Chromie. Oh, you pinged yourself? Okay. Gotcha. Okay. I was like, that was a hell of a spam ping. That was a weird timing, but that makes sense for them to come to you. You do finish your quest pretty early. That's 10 minutes is not bad for the vigorous reuptake quest. A lot of people I see don't get much value out of that until later. But you've been doing a good job of sticking with your team and spamming trade on cooldown to get that. Diablo combos not really on point. Not actually getting a whole lot done between the combo of him and Kel'Thuzad. Your focus is kind of all over the place here, unfortunately, in that fight. Some people wanted to kill Sonya, and then he got Force of Will, and some people switched, some people didn't. It was unfortunate. It could have gone much better for you. So 13s rather. You have Kel'Thuzad with Chains of Ice. I know this is an old patch because Chains of Ice is 60% now, so that makes sense. But this is still a good choice. Lingering Spines is still pretty good with the Grow, especially. Lingering Spines is very good with the Growing Infestation because you can drop it and it'll still grow over the 1.5 seconds that it persists. So I really like this talent. It's pretty good against their team. It stops a lot of their dive. Gives you good options. Dark Flight Disengage range on Greymane is pretty standard, pretty good. Lets him dive backline, lets him get away better. Devastating Charge is a very good talent. They did fix it. I mean, in this patch it wasn't bugged, but they did fix it recently in real time. So this is a very good talent still. Double Strike is very good for both the cleave and the basic attack reduction. It counts for 2 on both of those, so it's huge synergy between these 3 talents. Burning Rage on a new wreck is pretty standard, pretty boring. Fixed today, yeah. Timeout on Chromie, also pretty standard. The other option, I really like her option to switch with her Sand Clone, but she didn't quite have it up. This is still on the patch when it was 80 heroes to get instead of just 60. So she's not really close to her Sand Clone, so I agree with her that she didn't go for the Sand Clone swap. But that is an excellent talent at 13. It lets you back, get full mana, and come back to the fight. It's pretty good. Spell Shield on Sonya is decent against your team. Some pretty good choices. And Power is very standard on Tyrande, and this is the cooldown on Portal. So the synergy here is that it has almost 100% uptime with these two. I really like these two. So everyone's fairly standard talent's fairly good. Nothing really to complain about. So, nothing crazy happening. You guys are just poking around. Quantum Overdrive for Chromie for her is 16, which is 14, but is going to be pretty good for her. Well, this fight at mid lane, he misses his combo, unfortunately, and then the APOC whiffs on basically everyone as well, so you don't get much value out of your Lurking Arm right there. But Sonya leaps into 3 members of your team. That's going to be really rough for you, as well as the Leyline Seal. It's a good flailing swipe to potentially keep them up, and a very good burst heal to save him as well and let your Kerrigan come in. That was a very well played by your part. Flailing swiped as the Leyline went down, so everybody was saved off of that, and then healed everybody up before they got burst. That was excellently played on your part. And then some good old B-stepping. A lot of pings going down on boss. Probably the right call here. You have them down. You can not turn in yet, so boss is your best choice for some damage. But that was excellently played on your part. So you're clearing a big wave at bottom, getting a lot of XP for our team. Got an owl coming in. Only it's one person. But now you guys have boss. You can get turned in fairly soon. You think that they're turning in bottom, I believe. That's what that thing was for. Honestly, Sonya could have gone and turned in bottom. Combo gonna go down onto the Medivh. Not gonna get any damage though because of his force of will, unfortunately. But decent team fight going for you guys. Chromie gets chained to Nubarak, which is gonna be the end for her. You're gonna get gone on by Nubarak a little bit, but good flailing spikes to save yourself and also separate the Sonya further because she couldn't walk up this way. She would have had to walk all the way around. She didn't really have time for it, so that was well played on your part. Even if you didn't mean it, it worked out pretty well for you. 16, I'll go over your guys' 16 talents. Hungering Cold on Kel'Thuzad, I do not like personally. I much prefer Arcane Echoes for the increased uptime on Q. I've gone over that a few different times, but it's my favorite. Pox Populi is excellent. It's probably my go-to at 16. I don't really like... The other ones are okay. Super Strain is okay against like a Johanna or somebody that's going to stun you guys constantly. Or have a very good uptime on her stuns, but Pox Populi in general, I would say, is the way to go at 16. Executioner on Greymane, fairly standard, pretty good. Domination on Diablo, again, fairly standard, pretty good. Nothing to complain about here. Essence for Essence, I don't know if I like here necessarily because they don't have any high HP heroes. Anubrak's on the HP, so I don't know about that one as much. Good combo by Som, well played. Well, a lot of people try to do that combo, end up hitting the tower here and just kind of doing nothing with it. But that was well played on each part. Diablo's Apox have not been on point in the slightest, unfortunately. He hasn't been comboing off of them, and they're just not getting much done. But you do get the keep, which is good, and you back out, hopefully, which is also good. That is good keep value. Getting that, or good boss value, where they're getting that keep and getting out. Nothing really to complain about. Negratoria still doesn't have his Master Touch completed. That was a hell of a ley line. Ley line down indeed. But again, this is what Chromie should be doing, is just poking you guys. Should be doing it from here though, ideally, so she doesn't have to eat too much of the creep damage. But again, that was a very good, well placed lurking arm. Not sure how Edward gets Grandmaster every season sometimes. He does play pretty boosted sometimes, it's true. But then other times he carries pretty hard. I don't know. He's slightly inconsistent when it comes to Hero League. At least in the games that I have played with him. Diablo charges a creep, gets out of there in a jiffy. Nothing too bad there. I should play more Medivh. I've been wanting to learn more Medivh recently. I don't know why. I've just had a really strong urge to play a lot of Medivh, but I don't want to subject my Hero League teammates to that yet. But I feel like I could do alright on him. The Kerrigan is super out of position. She wanted to go for a wraparound kill, but like she was trying to position super aggressively, but Tehran happened to be sitting in that bush while invisible. So that means that your web weavers don't really get value, unfortunately. Everybody with the question marks. That was, speaking of boosted plays, your Diablo's gonna go in with no backup. Still gets the kill off with a Kel'Thuzad bolt, but not a ton else. Man, you guys do end up cleaning up that team fight because the Diablo went in APOC and actually caught a couple people with it, surprisingly. Unlike most of his APOCs have been. So that worked out for you guys, but it could have gone a lot worse because it was 5v4, so got kind of lucky on that. Also, Shadow or Leyline was just off a cooldown. They're just on cooldown still, unfortunately. Epicenter from Anubarak gives him more consistent ease. I like this talent. It's pretty good. Quantum Overdrive is good on Chromie. I also like the Qs give Psalm's ult that blind killed Chromie. Yeah, so it went off the here, I can rewind a little bit, hopefully. The APOC hit Chromie and he comboed off of that. Oh, not far enough. Go 15, 27, sure. So here, I'll watch a little bit closer. So we're gonna watch Kerrigan make some choices. Yeah, so here, your Diablo goes in real hard, real quick, right here. We'll just follow him. He dies way behind. And Chromie combos. Oh, so he killed himself. Never mind then. APOC didn't land, actually. So Chromie combos and has to time out to get out of that. But he comes out of stasis when he saw, or apparently he didn't see, when the ult is under him and actually just ends up killing himself. So that was unfortunate on his part. He should have stayed in timeout just a second longer. He would have gotten out of there alive. Whoops. Shit happens. Maybe he was trying to spam it and just accidentally caught it, or maybe he was spamming it and accidentally hit it. But either way, that sucks. That's rough, buddy. Furious Blow on Sonya increases seismic slam damage, which is, I guess, probably good if you're going for Shatterground at 4. Mark of Mending is not great on this team, honestly. It's pretty bad. You don't have a lot of people auto attacking at any decent clip, right? The only person auto attacking at any decent rate on this team is going to be Tarant herself. Because Anub is just going to try to do his combo. Sonya is going for a much more ability-based build. Mark of Mending is not going to get like any value here. I really don't like this talent. So her 4 or her 7 and her 16 are crippling her, in my opinion. And then Enduring Will increases force of blow's duration. A lot of people go for the heal on that nowadays, but I don't play much Medivh, so it is what it is. Oh, can he get out? Can he get out? Nope, he sure can. What would I have recommended for Tehran 16? Tehran 16 I would have recommended, let me double check. I'm pretty sure I know them, but every time I'm like, oh, I know this talent, I like just a little bit of doubt that I don't remember what's happening at 16. So at 16, she has Alun's Chosen and Overflowing Light. Alun's Chosen, here, I'll bring it up over here really quick. I like this talent a whole lot. You activate it to mark an ally and heal them for 200% of your basic attack damage for 5 seconds. So what that does is you can put it on somebody like a Sonya, especially if you go Darnassian Archery, because you're doing more damage with each consecutive auto attack, you can put it on a frontliner like a Sonya or even a Nubarak in this case, and only focus on healing your squishies. Alun's Chosen gives you a lot of options for healing because it lets you put it, you can even put it on like your healer if you want, if you're scared of them getting dove, and then you can just auto attack, plink away at tanks, and you're healing your allies the entire time without even having to use your Q cooldown, which you can also then use on the other tank and make them pretty hard to kill, or yourself. Or I really like Alun's Chosen. You'll see me go it almost every time, unless I have really fast auto attackers like a Tracer or a Diva or somebody who can take advantage of the auto attack increase, like a Tychus maybe. But yeah, Alun's Chosen is so key, in my opinion. And people who auto attack don't generally have high HP, so 2% of their max health per auto attack on slow auto attackers isn't going to be a lot anyway. Watch the turn is an alright call, but not much you can do if they wanted to stop it. You do get that camp fairly quickly though, because everybody is there. But yeah. Everything's just gonna kind of go back to normal. You guys are 20 now, so you do want to be pushing this fight as hard as you can. You unfortunately don't have turn-in, and boss isn't for another minute. But you will be able to play off of that boss if you can stop them from turning in for this minute. Diablo's going hard onto this camp. He knows that they're there. Even Hellgate's in, being a very brave boy. And he's going to secure you guys the objective, or the camp, but does go very hard for it. Shifting Malice on Kel'Thuzad is a pretty good choice, honestly. I'm liking Shifting Malice a lot more. It gives you a little bit of burst, extra burst for your combo, and even escape if you possibly need it. The ult reset at 20 for Shadow Fissure is also pretty trolly and good. I have nothing wrong with either that or Malice. Controlled Chaos is an excellent choice for Failing Swipes. You can do a fun thing with it as well, where if Failing Swipes is on cooldown, this will give you 2 charges of it instantly. So you can use flailing swipes in a team fight and then select your level 20 talent, and then it will give you 2 more charges to work with in the fight. I actually really like doing that. I like saving my 20 on Stukov and saving it for that. It ends up being really, really key. You get 5 swipes in a team fight. It's so huge. Hunter's Blunderbuss is, you do that now with Stukov. Nice. It's a very good trick to learn, and if you can do it consistently, it's so good. We have Hunter's Blunderbuss, fairly standard on Greymane, especially with the Executioner splashing. Hellgate, obviously, you just saw on Diablo, and then Nexus Blades on Kyrian. I much prefer the Blink on her, but Blink to give her another way of initiating, rather. But it's okay. It's not terrible. You guys are just going to siege down this third keep. You are 20, they are not, so if they want to fight you, they're going to have to deal with being down a tier, which is not good for them. And before then, you can just do whatever you want with them. New records get stunned up by that. The Somu leaps straight into the silence, but unfortunately is unstoppable for the lead. Good attempt on his part to get that kill on Chromie. You guys are going to clean up this team fight fairly quickly, it looks like. Both get comboed there. If he hadn't have lived, they both would have died to the combo, but that's not too bad. You guys do clean up that fight, and that's going to be GG. In general, really well played. Like, I don't have many pointers for you that you don't already know, I don't think. Saving your E to deal with characters like a Sonya or putting it on top of portals is pretty key. Just not sniping them anymore. Especially because you took Growing Infestation and increased the cooldown, so it's really hard to justify spamming it for like clearing waves or for doing little things now with Growing Infestation. You need to save it. You want to pick your own hero? Sorry, yeah, no, I don't agree. I echo that sentiment. That's pretty shitty that he was telling you who to play. That's unfortunate. But you played really well, in my opinion. There's not much I would have changed about your playstyle. Maybe a couple different talents that I personally enjoy more, but as far as normal gameplay, you did really, really well. Your swipes were pretty on point. You were good at separating teams. It was all in good fun. Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. You didn't take it personally. Okay. I don't know. I would be pretty upset with them. I'd be like, "Fuck you, man! You don't tell me who to play." Oh, and the Greymane and Diablo listened. Okay. Well, in that case, it's not that bad, but still. Yeah. But that was fairly well played by your part. I think your entire team played pretty solid, except for your Diablo. He was really on top of it. He was all into it. But that's okay. That was a very good game on everyone's part.